me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weakened. Forever he'll reign. Come on, you got it. My God is awesome. Come on, say, he can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Has he ever covered you? Come on.
Yes. Hello, my friend. I'm Gloria Mitchell with good news for you. Good news about decision making today as we look at the title of How to Make Wise Decisions. And I have a guest who is going to call in today. Her name is Tasha Freeman, and she's going to help me address this issue today. So, hello, Tasha.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, just fine, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today as we look at this thing that we call decision making. And I know that you're one who had to make some wise decisions in your life. And so, because you are an entertainer and a gospel singer and a minister and a dancer and a songwriter and all those things that you do, as well as being a teacher, then I've asked you to please join us in discussing this topic. And so you're welcome. I just want to begin by asking you to tell us a little about what it was like growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, the music city or the city of blues.
Yeah, Memphis has always had a very, very rich history. And I did grow up there, but I also grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was born in Memphis. But I got my first introduction to Memphis music, I should say, by watching some relatives stand around the radio singing. And it was so interesting to me that they stopped what they were doing to sing along to a song by Smokey Robinson. And at that moment, I really began to understand the power of music. And I knew then that's what I wanted to do. So I made that decision at like the age of 4 or 5 years old that I wanted to sing.
Did you take voice lessons or any training as far as a musician, any kind of musical instrument?
I played recorder. That was really about the only instrument I played as a fourth grader. But I did take voice lessons a couple times in my life. I wasn't a student of voice lessons throughout my career or life even, like I said, a few times, just to learn basic technique.
Okay. Well, here is a question for you. The Bible tells us in James 1, verse 5, it says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. Well, when it came to making a decision about working off Broadway, I'll just start with that one. Working off Broadway in the gospel music production of Mama Don't, tell us how you made a decision that you would go into that area of work or that field.
Well, right after college, before I even got really established as a singer or recording artist, I was fortunate enough to join a theater company. So that's where I started the bulk of my training as an actress. And I just happened to be in Memphis when a play, Mama Don't, came through there. And I was just so fascinated by how not only was the production great, the music was superb, but how lives were being changed through that. And I prayed and asked God, for an opportunity to be in a production like that. I didn't really know I was going to be in that production, but the opportunity did present itself. And I was able to do one of the biggest things in my career, and that was perform off-Broadway with that production.
Okay, did you have to really think long about this decision when the opportunity came its way or came your way?
No, I didn't have to think long because, like I said, I had been praying for an opportunity such as that to travel and to tour and to just be able to use my gifts as well to make a joyful noise. And like I said, when I saw how lives were being changed through that production, I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of. So when the opportunity presented itself, I was ready. I had already asked and God answered.
Okay, so what you've done now is you've covered two of the steps in how to make a wise decision that we're addressing today. One is to get to know the Lord first, so
Absolutely.
that you would have somebody that you could pray to. And so you have to decide that you want to know Him first. And then the
Absolutely.
second thing is to pray for wisdom. And God says
Yes.
if you pray for it, then He'll give it to you. Okay?
Absolutely.
Well, there's something else that you did, and that is that in 1993 you toured Russia.
Yes.
And that was with the critically acclaimed production of A Salute to Africans in Russia. I didn't even know they had Africans in Russia.
I didn't either, so I went over there.
Okay, what was that experience like for you?
You know, God is so faithful, and when you truly put Him first, He will open doors for you. And I think sometimes we get impatient because we think He's supposed to open doors quickly, but God is not a God that moves like that. He moves in His own time, in His own pace, at His own pace. But this was a production that actually happened very quickly. I never expected to go to Russia. I never even had a desire to go, but I got a phone call after having worked with the theater company, Blue City Theater Company in Memphis, doing several of their productions. They had received a phone call from a gentleman who had written a play about the life of Alexander Pushkin. And Alexander Pushkin was a African-Russian poet, but his fame to claim was that he was an African living in Russia. And so I got a phone call like in late March, April, asking me if I wanted to go to Russia. I was recommended. And I was like, well, yeah, okay, I guess. And then in May, I was on my way to Russia. So that was a life-changing experience.
Okay, so even though you didn't know anything about it, another step in making a wise decision is to lean not unto your own understanding. And so
Yes.
you didn't have to understand it. You just know that you got a phone call and somebody had recommended you, so they must have seen some talent in you that they thought would make you a good fit for this production. So kudos to you for deciding to go.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. How many people can say they've been to Russia? There are a lot, but I don't know of anyone that's been to Russia.
Well, I know one now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then another thing that you had to make a decision about, or somebody made it for you, is to study African Caribbean dance with the Tony Award-winning choreographer of The Lion King, Garth Fagan. Tell us about that. How did that come about?
You know, in my last year of college, I was basically just ready to get out of college. But I had I had completed all of the requirements, so I basically was taking a lot of just fun classes, if you will. And he happened to be teaching at the college that I attended. And that was just such a wonderful experience to not only be introduced to African Caribbean dance, but to work with Garth Fagan. He was the director of the Bucket Theater Company, or Bucket Dance Company at that time, out of Rochester, New York. And so to see him years later being recognized, and not only recognized, but honored, and so well deserved, for his work in The Lion King was just so humbling for me that I can actually say, I worked with him, I danced with him.
Well, there's someone else you worked with, too. It's the internationally renowned choreographer, Arthur Hall. And that meant that you worked with him on West African dance?
Yes. One of the exciting things that I got to do is Memphis has a festival every year called Memphis in May. And I believe it was like in 1987, they honored the country of Kenya. And so dancers from Kenya and different people who throughout the country of Kenya came to Memphis. But I was one of two Americans chosen to dance with the Bomas of Kenya.
Oh, wow.
And Arthur Hall, he was the one that just kind of spearheaded that.
Wait. You said chosen to dance with the Bomas of Kenya? What's a Boma?
Yes. That's the name of the national dance company out of Kenya.
Oh,
the Bomas of Kenya, yes.
Oh, okay, good. Now I'm with you. I can flow with you.
Yes.
Now. Okay, and one of only two African Americans.
It was only two of us, and it was just such an honor. With me learning African dance, I was familiar with two of their national dances. So myself and another young man, John Sullivan, were working with the theater company, the Nubian Theater Company out of Memphis. And so that was one of the things we did with that theater company, African and African-American folklore, but we also specialized in African dance. So with having that training, I was able to dance with the Bomas.
Okay, when I read this, I thought about the fact that Kenya is actually in East Africa, but you studied West African dance. So did you pick up some of the East African dance, or were the two similar? Or what would you say about that? The two
were similar, yeah. The Kenya, you're absolutely correct. I've danced with different teachers who taught dance from both East Africa and West Africa.
Okay, and then tell us how you got a chance to tour with Stevie Wonder on his In Square Circle tour. How did you even get a chance to do that?
You know, that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that was just so marvelous. When he was on tour, during, I can't remember the name of the song, but during one of the songs on his set, he featured African dancers. And so when they were in Memphis, the young lady who was in charge of hiring the dancers found out about us. She gave us the opportunity to come to Philadelphia or go to Philadelphia to dance with him, and then we met up again in New York. So it was wonderful. It was life-changing.
Okay, as we look then, because we're going to shift questions in just a moment, as we look at how to make wise decisions, we've already said, get to know the Lord first, pray for wisdom, and then lean not unto your own understanding, and then a fourth thing or step that you would take is to be honest with yourself. What is it that you really desire to do? And so that brings me to the question of asking you, what is your ultimate goal in life, since you got the singing here, the dancing here, the writing there, the teaching? What is your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is to be able to incorporate all of the arts into ministry. For me, as a singer, as an actress, as a storyteller, as a dancer, to do something that's really never been done, not only in the gospel music industry, but the Christian music industry, and just the music industry as a whole. And I think that's so important, because there are a lot of artists who are labeled gospel artists or Christian artists who are not able, or should I say, they're not given the platform to utilize all the gifts that God has given them. And that's what I have been chosen to do. God has told me strategically that he wants me to minister outside the box, to make the gospel attractive, to make it authentic. Those were the words of Bishop Kenneth Ulmer. He told me that. But God has always told me that he was preparing me to do something that has never been done, to draw people to him.
Okay, and so that means that you're one who respects God, or you fear God, and you want to do whatever he has assigned you to do. And so
Absolutely.
That would be another thing that people should do if you want to make a wise decision. Remember who's in control of your life, that we're here for a purpose, and each one of us has an assignment. All right?
Yes.
So, Tasha, do you write your own songs that you perform?
I do. I actually had stopped singing for quite some time when I got called into ministry, which I never saw that coming. But God was just telling me that he wanted me to do more than entertain people. He wanted me to give them a foundation in the Word. And so when I stopped singing, I didn't sing for about 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a long period. It was a serious period of brokenness. And then, like I said, I was being groomed to minister. And so when the Lord told me to go back into the studio, I'm like, well, where do I begin? I don't know. Where do I begin? How do I begin again? And It started with me, writing. Okay, I'm ready to begin again.
Okay, you're ready to begin again, and I'm ready to play and hear a sample of Begin Again. Listen up,
Wonderful.
Please.
Thought I'd see the light of day after darkness tried to steal my faith. The trials of life got hard, but I held on to the hand of God. The danger seen and unaware, I must confess at times I was scared. I didn't know what to do, but he promised he would see me through. And now I stand with my eyes open wide. Every step I take for the rest of my life will be for thee, my destiny. I'm in it to win. I'm ready to begin again.
You're ready to begin again. So how did you feel after you got that first song that you released?
I felt that I was definitely on my way to healing. I wasn't healed completely, but I was ready to make the steps that were necessary to start singing again. Because, again, I hadn't sung in like 13 years. So I felt strong enough to take the next step and to write the next song.
Okay, we're going to play the second song, Lessons Learned. Obviously, you learned a lesson or two or three. Okay, let's hear it, please.
Looking back on where I've been, if I had to do it all over again, some things I'd change, others I'd leave the same. Had some joy and a whole lot of pain. Friends come and friends go. I never knew a friend could be so cold. Life will twist and turn, leaving trails of lessons learned.
Okay, what a beautiful piece of music. So you decided that you would obey God, which is a step in making decisions, that you will obey God regardless of where it takes you or not knowing where it will lead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yes.
once you did that, now let's go back. Did you ever consult someone? Because another step in wise counsel is to seek the counsel of others. So did you ever seek wise counsel when you stopped singing, either before you stopped singing or before you started singing again?
I did actually. As a minister at Faithful Central, one of the last meetings I was in with Bishop Omer, all of the ministers actually, I got a chance to ask him a powerful question that he gave me just a life-altering answer. And I told him that, I had been in the entertainment industry for a number of years, and God called me out of the entertainment industry to prepare me for ministry. And so God was now preparing to send me back into the entertainment industry. And he asked if I was going in as an artist or was I going in to sponsor somebody. And I told him I was going in as an artist. And he basically told me to go for it. He said that he felt that it said a lot about me that God would send me back into such a dark industry. And the words that he just spoke to me was so encouraging, because we are needed to go out and to make a difference into all aspects of life. The entertainment industry is one avenue that I think we've got to make a greater impact. So, yes, I saw counsel from Bishop Omer.
Oh, okay. I like that because that leads right into the next thing that a person would do if you want to make a wise decision is to expect God to answer your prayers. Some people just pray and they just get up and go and do.
Yeah.
But we must expect him to answer our prayers. We actually find in 1 John 5:14 and 15 that this is the confidence that we have, that when we pray in accordance with his will, he hears us. And when he hears us, we know that our request has been granted, that it's already done. So you ask the question, you got your answer, and then you were told to go for it. So that's what you did. So let's hear the next song, please. Misfit Interlude. And I'm going to ask you how you came up with that title. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's hear it, please.
Say I'm trying to live biblically, right divine order rules my life. I'm not perfect, I'm just different. I'm different.
Well, I have a question that's going to shift this a little bit, the conversation. I know you spent some time in Los Angeles, and then you moved away. You just talked about where you were, and you were told to go for it, and then you left. So how did you make that decision to relocate from the great Los Angeles all the way to Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Well, I was going through a rough season in Los Angeles where I really needed a break. I needed to get away. And as it would turn out, I had difficulty finding a producer to produce the songs. And so my brother, who's a minister here, also was a well-known DJ in the Milwaukee area. And he told me about a producer. And once I talked with him, we just gelled so. And after doing the first two songs, Begin Again and also Lessons Learned, I just loved their vibe. And we ran into difficulty with me trying to relate to them what I was hearing in my head for them to actually put music to it or create it. And so because I was going through that season where I just felt I needed a change, the Lord told me to come back to Milwaukee, which is where my family is actually, but to come back to Milwaukee to complete the CD. And so that's actually how I ended back up in Milwaukee. I came here, and then I was able to do the CD according to God's instructions, not mine, but specifically how he wanted me to do it.
And how did you come up with the name Misfit Interlude?
Well, that's actually a two-part song. We have Misfit Interlude, and then we have the song Misfit. But we as Christians, we're in the world, but we're not of the world.
Oh.
And one thing Bishop Ulmer said is that, when you go back into the entertainment industry, you're going to have to be willing to pay the cost. And he said most times the cost is going to be your conscience. So what are you willing to do to be in the entertainment industry? What are you willing not to do? And I'm trying to live my life being divinely ordered. My steps are being divinely ordered by the Lord. So I can't do everything that other people do, but yet I'm still there to make an impact.
And what you've just done is you've just shared my point number 9 in how to make a wise decision is to wait on the Lord. So expecting an answer is one thing, but then you got to wait on the Lord. And sometimes, a lot of times, he doesn't come right when you want him. Sometimes he comes at 11:59 and the 59th second or so, okay? So, but anyway, let's go on. There's another song called My Story. Let's hear that.
She started to walk step by step, the path that led to her destiny. Along the way, she met wolves in sheep's clothing, but she didn't fear nor turn back or become prey for their trap, because she looked beyond what her eyes could see. No one ever said the road was easy. It never has been and it never will be. It takes a lot of work, but the goal is the same. I'm just telling you my story.
Okay, you're telling us your story in the form of a song.
Everyone has a story.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing behind that particular song. We all have a story, and all of us have had similar life experiences. The only thing that's different is the scenario.
Okay.
So everybody has a story to tell.
Well, since everybody has a story to tell, what will you say, or say something right now to our listeners to encourage them to find out what God has told them to do so they will really step out and do that thing? What word of encouragement? Go ahead.
I would definitely say, get your prayer life in order.
Okay.
Talk to him, because that's where God answers. He answers in prayer. And then be willing to endure, because some things that God has called us to do, it will take years before they come to pass. One of the songs I wrote, which is really like my favorite on the CD, is called Worth the Wait, meaning, it may be years before it happened, but when God makes it happen for you, it's going to be worth the wait. So I would definitely say be willing to endure. Cry if you must, rest if you must, but get back up and keep moving.
Okay, well, that's very good advice. We're going to close with Worth, W-O-R-T-H. But before
worth the wait.
Oh, well, worth the wait then. Thank you for the correction there. Worth the wait. And then tell us where we can find your music.
You can find my music on CD Baby, iTunes, Amazon.com.
Okay, and what's the genre?
The genre of my music is contemporary Christian gospel.
Okay. All right. And then I do remember having a conversation with a young lady who has been a performer for over 50 years. And she said that one thing that the Lord told her to do she said, I don't want you to be, the Lord says, I don't want you to be a Christian singer. I want you to be a singer who is Christian.
Yes.
So her music
Absolutely.
is R&B.
You know, the thing about it is I hate labels because so many people say, well, you're not a gospel singer, or you don't sound like a Christian singer. I tell them the music is universal, the message is inspirational. So I really call myself a neo-soul inspirational singer. I just kind of created my own genre, if you will. But I don't fit in any of the genres, but since I had to choose something, because I'm carrying a message of the gospel in my music,
Okay.
contemporary gospel, but I like the neo-soul inspirational.
All right. Well, we thank you so much. I thank you for joining us today on Good News for You with Dr. Gloria Mitchell. And I pray God's blessings upon you and your ministry in
Thank you
music
so much.
and dance and whatever else you're doing. Thank you, listeners. May the good news bless your heart. Remember, Jesus loves you, and I'm praying for you. And have a blessed day as we go out on Worth the Wait.
Dreams are born in every heart at some point in time, stirring souls to take a leap of faith, knowing you have got to try to make it all come to pass is a risk that one must take. Years may come and go, but when it unfolds, you'll know it was worth the wait. There comes a time